All right, welcome back to another episode of Paul's Collectibles. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate having you. Hope you enjoy what you see. Check out some of my other videos if you're interested in different types of Star Wars collectibles. And if you're a returning customer, I appreciate having you. Thanks for coming back. Today, we're going to continue my series on my 3 3/4 inch Star Wars action figure collection. As you can see behind me, this set is the Revenge of Sith set that came out about the same time as the movie in 2005. And it's one of my larger sets. I don't know what was going on in 2005, but apparently I had time to pick up Star Wars figures and a lot of time to go through and get some doubles actually. So I don't think I'm going to hit each and every one of these like I normally do this time. We'll probably kind of pan through and look at each of them, but I'll pull out a select few to talk about in a more in-depth fashion, because frankly, I don't want this video to be 45 minutes long while I go over all these Star Wars figures and lose you in about 2 seconds. So with that, let's get into this. Okay, this wave has 45 single figures, as you can see, and right up front there are 4 Army Builder Clone Trooper packs. Those Clone Trooper packs down there remind me of the ones that I got with the Clone Wars wave, but they're from Revenge of the Sith. They have the Phase 2 Clone Troopers. Over here to the left, that whole row is going to end up being different versions of Clone Troopers. Up top, those are about 4 deep up there, as you can see, and those are going to be Jedi and Sith from the movie. And then over here, which you'll discover in a moment, I somehow ended up with a whole bunch of Emperor Palpatines out of this wave. So there's like 4 or something in there. And in the middle, towards the back, and some star cases are some Target exclusives that we'll talk about. All right, let's get into these a little bit more in depth. Okay, we're going to start off with why I apparently have so many Chancellor Palpatines. On the far left here, you see Supreme Chancellor Palpatine in his regular black robes that he was wearing at the beginning of the movie. Then you just see Palpatine here, and he's got a lightsaber. But look closely, it's a blue lightsaber, and that is an error. And then of course, if you go on, I have the same figure, but this time they've corrected that, and he's carrying his red lightsaber. And then further on, towards the end of the movie, when he gets all kinds of damage, he becomes Emperor Palpatine. Moving right along, we have Ayla Sakura, once again, still suffering from video game itis. She's not wearing anything that makes any common sense, just a halter top, no pockets, no armor, no nothing. I guess that made her easy to look at or something. And then we have Force Combat Mace Windu. And then there's 2 versions of Yoda that I have from this wave, the firing cannon version, as you can see there, and then the spinning attack Yoda. Now we have Kit Fisto, Jedi Master, Zet Jocasa, which, as an aside, was played by George Lucas's son Jet. He's the one that the clone troopers blow away on the landing pad. And here's everybody's favorite Conehead again, Dan Aykroyd. No, Coyote Mundi. And then there is Shaak Ti once again. On the far right, we have Zapped Brack Jedi Master, Agen Kolar, who, as you're well aware, is the same race as Darth Maul. He just doesn't have all the painting and tattoos. There is Obi-Wan Kenobi with his pilot gear. Comes with a little headset and his lightsaber. And then we have Slashing Attack Obi-Wan Kenobi over here, where he gets a little bit more serious and starts meaning business. And then there's Saesee Tiin. Saesee Tiin was one of the Jedi who died in the lightsaber duel with Darth Palpatine, Darth Sidious. And since there's only one Jedi left, we're going to replace him with Plo Koon, who I've had from other collections as well, as you recall. He eats it when he gets blown out of his Jedi fighter by his clone troopers during Order 66. And I have Luminara Unduli from this wave, Jedi Master. And this time I picked up a couple of General Grievouses. I wasn't a big fan of that character. I thought it was kind of silly and almost a caricature of what a bad guy should be. But he has lightsabers, and I collect characters that have lightsabers, so I picked him up. One says Exploding Body underneath the cape there, and the other says 4 lightsaber attack. So I guess technically he's got more lightsabers in one package than anybody else has, the record being 2. And then there's our last Count Dooku, Sith Lord. Okay, one of the interesting things about this wave is that They kind of mislabeled some of the characters. As you can see on the right here, this is a clone trooper, according to the bottom of the package down there. But that is quite evidently a shock trooper. So there's that to be seen. Then we have clone trooper, but he's just a regular clone trooper and clearly is the same figure as that one, just without the painting. And then we have a different posed tactical ops trooper over here with that blue on. And then I've got Commander Bukhara. Somehow I ended up with 2 clone pilots. Not sure how that happened. No big deal. You'll recall one of them was named Oddball. They called out his name at the beginning of the episode. And there is an AT-RT driver. And then finally, over here in this section, we have Commander Gree. This poor guy lost his head when he tried to attack Jedi Master Yoda. Don't lose your head! In keeping with some of the odd naming conventions, I have 2 of these. They're just called Clone Commander. And notice that they're red. And I have the exact same figure over here, just called Clone Commander. But you'll notice he's got a green deco. And if you keep going, the yellow deco, but they gave him a name, and that's Commander Bly. This one on the far left is simply referred to as Clone Trooper. However, if you look closely, he's got gray markings on his shoulders and on his knee pads. Not sure how that happened. The next 2 are technically called AT-TE Tank Gunner, but one of them, this one in particular, has it in a bunch of different languages. Whereas his buddy here is apparently an English-only speaker. Just has it down here in the one language. And then finally, I've got my 3rd clone pilot from this movie. And you can see the picture on the box looks like the other 2 that we've already looked at. But the guy inside is wearing all black. I thought that was interesting as well. And I don't even recall seeing the all black deco that they were using on the clone pilots in Revenge of the Sith. And wrapping up my collection from Revenge of the Sith concerning Sith and Jedi is the formalized, finalized, fully armored lightsaber attack Darth Vader at the end of the movie. They gave him a red lightsaber even though he never used a red one in this movie. Moving right along here we have Anakin Skywalker before and after lava drinking. Got him all crispy time burned up on the side there. And then we have lightsaber attack Anakin Skywalker, of which I have 2 somehow or another. And as you can see, this is from the beginning of the movie. He has Dooku's lightsaber in his package with him. So you can reenact the summarily executed Count Dooku scene at the beginning. And then finally, this happened later in the movie. This is Anakin Skywalker slashing attack. But how do I know it happened later in the movie? Look at his eyes. They've got them all darkened. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. They got them all darkened, and I believe that's where he got Sith eyes when he was eliminating the separatist leaders. There are 3 of these guys. It's called Clone Trooper. It says it at the top of the package, and where the type of figure would normally go, down here it says Target exclusive. These ones have what looks like the Cobra symbol on their helmet and on their armor, but they were Target exclusive. I ended up with 3 of them. They all came in star cases as well. Let's take a look at the back of that really quick. Yeah, now that is one of the coolest backs, card backs I've ever seen. Look at that. It's just the full-on Clone Trooper picture. Very little legalese, except for way down there in the small print. It's just a full-size pic. That's pretty awesome. And lastly, the multi-packs from this wave, Revenge of the Sith, called Build Your Army Clone Troopers. If you saw my video on the Clone Wars, these will look familiar. What happens here is they give you 3 clones in 3 different poses. That's the one that's just a bunch of regular clones, just in the regular standard white armor, if I'm not mistaken. Although this guy on the right looks like he may have some markings on his shoulder pads. No, that's just reflection. And then we'll drop down. Same exact 3 figures, except for the guy on the left has some reddish tan markings. They don't say specifically from where he is. He's just cool to look at. And then we're moving right along over here, and you see the guy in the middle this time has green markings. And then we have a guy with blue markings over here in a backpack. And apparently he's leading from the ground. Okay, That's my fairly extensive Revenge of the Sith wave. I appreciate you joining me once again for what turned out to be a fairly long video. Thanks for sticking it out with me, and I will see you on the next episode.